What's going on, guys? It's Steeler here back again with a little impromptu Xbox One X review. Keep in mind, if you're a hardcore guy, if you want to know about the tech, the way the games look, what I can compare them to as a high-end PC owner, then I've got you covered. Sorry, it's not a video format. It's a little more boring, but we're going to try to kind of keep it straight and narrow here with just details, maybe even some questions from you guys in the chat. And like I said, yeah, it is kind of a last minute kind of random thing, but I do appreciate those that do show up. So if you have any questions, I am all ears. I've got a lot of time with the console. I am more than willing to answer any questions you might have over the next 20 minutes or so, because I know Rand and them have a show coming up. I want to get Rand on here, but he's a little busy right now. I figured it'd be a good perspective from someone who kind of, was just entering the Xbox One, just now seeing these visuals for the first time, and is now a newfound believer in the Xbox One X. So I really like seeing a lot of these guys enjoy the console. So, like I said, any questions, please at me. Let me know in the chat. But initial impressions are very good. Very good initial impressions, guys. I've said this time and time again. PC quality experience. Say it with me. PC quality experience on a console. It looks great. Gears of War 4 in the frame rate mode, while some do poke at the 1 or 2 drops that Digital Foundry said they found, and they even mentioned in that video that, hey, this is locked most all the time. Gears of War in 60 frames, what looks like ultra settings to me. And keep in mind, I played at ultra settings several times. This looks like ultra settings to me. 60 frames per second, even in 1080p mode. Absolutely astonishing to see this on the console. Seriously, you still get the 4K assets. You get all of these increases on vegetation. What I'm noticing is in the notes of a lot of these enhanced patches, they'll say 4K resolution and supports HDR. That's what it'll say in the store. But then you boot up the game and you're like, hey, this has more foliage than the old one. This has better lighting than the old one. So I'm noticing that some developers are not putting all the enhancements in their little descriptions. When will I start up a super chat? I'm not sure, brother. Good idea. What's going on all day? All day, if you can jump in here, bro. I know you're at work, but if you can make it all day, fucking got mind fucked by this thing last night. So a lot of people are very impressed. It's myself included. Now keep in mind, I did do benchmarks with an RX 480 on the PC. I don't know, a year ago, 8-9 months ago. I told you guys it was 5.93 teraflops, clocked at 1288 core clock. I said, this is what you can expect. No less than this. This is the worst case scenario. From what I've seen from Gears of War 4, this is absolutely indicative of a PC equivalent, if not more. So all the people out there casting doubt about, oh, it's console hardware, it'll never stack up, and all the negativity and all the BS, you've got to give props. Now, what I'm seeing, some people, they're in complete denial. They are damage controlling. They're saying it's all hyped. It's not all hype. I don't understand how somebody can boot up Shadow of War and say that's all hype. The most detailed textures you've ever seen in your life, and that's coming from someone who played Shadow War on a GTX 1080 for a few hours. It is not all hype. Those are actual 4K assets for the first time ever on a console. Looks absolutely stunning. So, sorry, bro, I can't really make out your name right now. He says, do you think a next-gen console will do 4K 60 FPS on all or most games? It's hard to see it doing anything less than that. 4K is already here. We've seen that with the Xbox One X. There's going to be patches out there like Titanfall 2 that were kind of hit or miss, right? We all know Titanfall 2, that patch might have had some herpes or something. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but it's not what it could be. And that's evident by the extreme scaling that they've got on offer there. So I think it will be definitely a step up. But today I'm talking about Xbox One X, guys. If you're on the fence, if you are curious about, is this really a step up? Are these people lying when they say it's all hype? Yes, they're lying, because it is indicative of a PC quality experience. The first time I booted up Wolfenstein 2, and keep in mind, you guys heard me say this on videos before, Wolfenstein on the base Xbox looks absolutely great to me, even though whatever it is, it scales down to 810p, still looks good to me. I can tell they're using physically based materials. They're doing all this great stuff. It's a good step up. When I booted this thing up on the Xbox One X, immediately, all day was in the party with me. I said, yep, PC. I feel like I'm playing a PC right now. So keep that in mind. I know Colt Eastwood, shout out to you, brother. Thanks for showing up in the chat. He hasn't gotten his yet. He kind of got screwed over a little bit, but yeah, he gets his Friday, so he's going to be pretty impressed. I think he's going to be like, yep, I feel like I'm playing a gaming PC right now, which is kind of one of the reasons I even got a gaming PC back in 2011. I was kind of tired of waiting on the next gen to start. The Xbox One hit a few years later. I was like, it looks better, but, a little bit let down. This is, quote, unquote, the real next generation. So if you have any doubts in your head, if you really don't know what to think, if you're concerned about third-party support, which is something a lot of these reviewers keep saying, not sure why. I feel like you need to compare this to other consoles that have done similar things. If you're going to compare this, you need to compare it to what's out there. And the Pro is what's out there. And what I know is that it has much more day one support than the Pro. Not only more, and these are just facts, right? There are already almost 80 patches up day two of the console's release. Already. That is substantial. Not only are there substantially more patches on day one, day two. Day one, there were 70-something. But these patches are more substantial themselves. That's why you had these download sizes. So just to give you guys an idea, and if you're watching, please hit that like button, guys. We appreciate it. It really helps the channel, helps the videos, all that stuff. Share the stuff. You know the drill. You guys do a great job. But substantially, the download sizes for the patches are not absolutely ridiculous. Shadow of War, the Ultra HD texture pack, was about 9 gigabytes. Gears of War, I think that patch was somewhere around 10 or 15 gigabytes. Could be wrong there. The biggest patch, one of the bigger patches, was the Warhammer End Times Vermintide. That was 19 gigabytes for some reason. Might have been some content increases there. Indy, get out of here. Indy's in here. Why are you in here? You have Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's the first thing I see when I get online. Indy playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm like, how did you do that? If you have any codes or any early access for that, please send them to me. That'd be amazing. I want to play Battlefront 2. It's already got the X patch. But I digress. Basically, guys, patch sizes are not unreasonable unless you have Ultra HD high-resolution textures that no other console has, like Tomb Raider. 31 gigabytes for Tomb Raider. Yes, that is substantial. But keep in mind, that's why you buy the box. That's why it's got 326 gigabytes of memory bandwidth. Because that's what it's built to do. And furthermore, that's why PC gaming is so striking to many people. Because you do have these 4K assets. You've got all this good stuff going on, and that's why you're paying $500 for the box, for the 12 gigabytes of GDDR5, for the bandwidth of a GTX 1080. That's why all of this stuff has been put in here intentionally so, because they definitely want you to have that PC quality experience. That's why they've compared it to a PC. Now, in terms of frame rates, it is variable. Not every game offers 60. I do have several that do offer 60. As I said, Gears of War 4 was absolutely locked on me and all day. Ran through that all day, couldn't stop looking at shit on the ground and stuff. It was kind of funny because, keep in mind, many people have never seen this before. I'm impressed, and I've been looking at these graphics for years. Even though I do 1% of my gaming on PC, still very impressed that I'm seeing this on a console. So Wolfenstein, all this stuff. Now, let's see. Someone says Battlefront 2, rumor is, doesn't bring 4K. I don't know. I had predicted this in the past. At the very least that you're getting a Battlefront 2 is 1440p, which is still almost double 1080p, and I'm sure you're getting more effects, more sparks. That's the stuff that looks phenomenal. So no matter what it's at, it does have a marketing deal with Sony. You are still getting a patch. I can speak on the COD patch. A lot of people are like, where's the COD patch? That is apparently, well, their official statement is a bug. So I don't know. It might be showing up now, but it has been released since the X came out. The COD patch is there. It looks substantially better. First thing, once again, especially in 60 frames per second titles, I think immediately PC quality experience. Even though I don't spend much time on PC, I've seen that over and over before, and that's what it feels like to me. So if you want something like that that is indicative of a much higher quality experience, especially in 60 frames per second titles, this is going to absolutely blow you away. Now, what I was saying before is not every game has 60 frames per second, but every game does look substantially better. It's also important to note that 60 frames is possible on games, even if it's not there. Like Witcher 3, for instance. NX Gamer did a video today where he ran Witcher 3, the unpatched version of Witcher 3. If you do recall, that game was unpatched. Obviously, at launch, it had no frame rate cap. He threw that in the X, did not patch it, and that game ran at 60 frames per second in combat. So we know, unoptimized, that Witcher 3 is running at 60 frames on the X, just the base version of the game, right? Now, GPU stuff, obviously, it's not really going to affect that because they can scale resolution. They can give you a mode with 60 frames. But we know that the CPU is not holding back 60 frames from Witcher 3 90% of the time. Now, as I said before, it might drop down to 40, 45, whatever in the city, but do a dynamic frame rate scaling. I don't know. Cap it in the city. Everywhere else, which is where you're at most of the time, is out in the wild doing things. 60 frames, options like that could mean the difference. So I don't know, guys. This is really indicative of a very high quality experience. Sorry if I haven't gotten back to you on Xbox Live. I've gotten so many questions over the past 2 days. I've just been trying to play the game. So Assassin's Creed looks better. You're noticing much higher resolution, much better draw distances. Wolfenstein is absolutely flooring to look at. Call of Duty is night and day to me. What else have I played? Shadow War, the textures in that game. If you want to see Ultra HD textures, and just sit there and look at a cape for 10 minutes or some logs or some dumb shit you never did in your life before, check out Shadow War. Not only is it a great game, but it offers you very high resolution assets. Even in its quality mode, it's very close to 4K. Looks very stunning. Looks great. Looks like the PC version, just at half the frame rate. So that's kind of my rule going forward. What I've noticed, my GTX 1080 offers very good looking visuals, but of course I can't run everything at 4K if I want to run 60 frames per second. I run it at around 1800p at 60 frames per second. What I've noticed on Xbox One X is I'm getting the same visual level as a 1080, but I'm just getting it at 30 frames. So keep that in mind. You are going to see visuals like somebody on a 1080 will see. You'll just see it at half the frame rate. But of course, as a console person, you might not mind so much. It's totally fine. And many games do offer a 60 frames option where they can scale that resolution down anyway. So you're getting visuals indicative of a high-end PC. Let alone, whether or not it's at 60 frames, it just, that is what it is. But that's all preference anyway. So me myself, I prefer 60. Gears of War 4 looks great in the 4K mode, but I will play it in 60. I think it looks better in 60 at 1080p. It has the same assets, same settings, just a quarter of the resolution. So everything looks good, guys. Load times are better. Something I really want to talk about is the fact that not only are load times better, the OS is snappier, everything runs better, but old games do look better. This is not a marketing ploy. I was talking to somebody today who was playing Witcher 3. They thought it was patched. They thought it was patched. Witcher 3 has not gotten a patch yet, just so you know. So Witcher 3 now is not running at 900p half the time. It's now running at full 1080 all the time. And that 16x texture filtering is what I'm noticing. If you look at the ground, the trails in the mud, the cobblestone, all the little rocks, all of those are much more detailed because of the 16x texture filtering that's automatic for all X1 games. Man, does that game look substantially better. So even without a patch, Witcher 3 looks great. It looks really good. And Battlefield 1 now runs at, I think, 1000p full time. I'm noticing the texture filtering on that, plus a rock-solid frame rate from what I can tell. It looks good. It runs good. Every game looks good. It runs good. For now on, every game's going to look better, run better. Plus, you get all the latest and greatest titles patched as well. So when someone says, well, you just like playing old games, doesn't that get boring? No, I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm playing Wolfenstein. I'm playing Assassin's Creed. I'm about to be playing Battlefront. Hopefully, I have a message right now with somebody with a code from Battlefront. That'd be great. So, there's tons of new stuff, and that extends into every year from now on, not just 2017, 2018. Forza looks good, but like I said before, I said this several times, Forza already looks phenomenal. So do not expect Forza to be, oh my God, night and day, because to me, it's just not. I mean, it looks really good, don't get me wrong, but the game already looked phenomenal. So don't expect the night and day things there. The difference between Ark Survival Evolved is absolutely insane. If you haven't checked out Ark Survival Evolved or the comparison on WCC Tech's YouTube channel, that is just monstrously different. So tend to go to games that were struggling in the first place when you do these comparisons. They all look really, really good. So that's kind of my, I like to get to the point, that's my thing. I don't like to talk for 50 years and not say too much. Yeah. What's up, guys, in the chat? A lot of good stuff going on, guys. Absolutely stoked for the performance I'm seeing, for the visuals I'm seeing, the frame rates I'm seeing. Everything seems to be more stable. And these are just pre-release launch patches. Keep that in mind. So these probably aren't indicative of maximum effort, to be honest. You're getting games that they've had to dig out of the old boxes in the office. They had to dig out this old code and they patched it. And hey, it looks great. It runs great. And it's awesome. So yeah, Witcher is not. There is no patch for that out yet. I don't know if you missed that part, but yeah, the game does look better automatically. I noticed the texture filtering, the resolution bump is better. COD is running. I don't know what it's running, but what I do notice is it looks substantially better. To be honest, that's all I know. I don't know if it's running 4K assets. And on the topic of 4K assets, since you got guys damage controlling saying it's all hype, I've heard some videos where people are testing games that aren't even patched, right? Forza Horizon, Sunset Overdrive. They're using this as an kind of an edge case of what to expect from the X. These games aren't patched. So once again, you kind of have to pick and choose who you're paying attention to here. A lot of these guys are testing games that aren't even patched. So you kind of seem like a reviewer at that point where you're just completely pointless and useless. You don't even know what games are patched. It's kind of odd to do so there. So the games that are patched look substantially better. COD looks way better. Something else I want to get out there, guys, because we got a tech channel here for the most part. Just keep in mind that the brightness settings on all the games I've tested, I've had to change. So if you have not changed your brightness settings, if you're coming from the S or anything else, make sure you're changing your brightness settings, guys, because it does make a difference. The games look substantially less washed out. They look substantially better. Yeah, just make sure you got all that stuff tweaked and right, because it does make a difference. Witcher 3 not running at low settings. No clue if anyone said that, Colt, but yeah, that game was tested a long time ago. Not running at low settings. Actually looks pretty good on the X, and even the S, believe it or not, look pretty damn good. Halo 5 is running 2 times better. Yep. Everything seems to be running substantially better. And the coolest part is it's all automatic, as I've said before. So once again, guys, things are great. People are damage controlling. Not sure why. You can't look at something like Shadow War and compare it to the Pro version with medium textures and tell me that that's not substantially better. And that's something the Pro can never do because it doesn't have enough RAM. If you think it's bad now, wait until 2 months, 3 months, 5, 6 months from now. If you think day one fucking old code pulled out of the box and tweaked now is bad, wait until it's really tuned at the same time and optimized at the same time. That's going to show you even more so than day one code that things are going to be interesting. So, hey, if you're tuning in, hit that like button, guys. I appreciate it. Quick impressions. If you want to know more, obviously, check out the video on re-uploads. I've said a lot in a short amount of time. I don't have too much more time because I'm trying to be respectful to those that do have some stuff coming up because I'm just a nice fucking guy. So, once again, guys, if you're excited, be excited. It is indicative of a PC quality experience. If you hear somebody say they're not impressed, I've heard that from reviewers, these frauds, well, then they're not impressed with PC gaming. Because when I play Gears 4, that's PC Ultra settings. When I play Gears 4 60, that's PC Ultra settings 1080, 60. You're not impressed with PC now? Makes no sense. So, just pay attention to these guys. You know who's actually, saying the real shit and who's not. This stuff looks great. Thanks for all the messages. Yes. The vindication is real. And I've gotten several podcasts, interviews coming up, I guess, because people are like, oh my God, you said all this shit forever ago and you were the first guy saying this. Yes. It is what it is, guys. Try to bring accurate, truthful information, and sometimes you get punished for that by idiots that don't know anything about technology. So once again, guys, thanks. It is indicative of a PC quality experience, no matter what anyone says. I would recommend Wolfenstein, booting that up. Forza, every game looks great. Don't get me wrong, but games like Wolfenstein really struck me. COD, believe it or not, really struck me. I'm talking, the cops were there. It's bad. So, this stuff looks really good. Assassin's Creed, hey, that game runs at somewhere around 4K. Looks really good. Draw distances are better. I don't think it has better textures, but I think the textures were already there. The resolution was just lower, so you really couldn't see the detail that the textures already had for you. So let me know what you guys think down below. Of course, if you appreciate the content, check out the Patreon link below. Hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. It's my quick review. And, of course, if you missed anything, go back and check it out whenever you upload. Thanks for all the messages. I got, 120-something messages over the past 2 days. So I'm going to try to get back to them, but it might be a while, guys. But thanks again. If anybody's got any Battlefront 2 early access codes, let me know. I'd appreciate that. I'm Dealer. I'm out.